the basement. She was like, "What the fuck is all this?" So I was like, "Oh, sorry." Will you forgive me? It's like when Seth got his boxes on his driveway.
No, that wasn't the case. She was like, "Wait, what? How are you going to get all this out of the garage now that you've got it built here?" And I'm like, "It's not leaving. It's not going to leave." And that's when that was said.
By the way,
Tomorrow's
By the
garbage
way,
day. I gotta cut up a
I
whole.
may have bought the wrong one, but I can't send it back now. All right, let's get rolling on this one.
All right, hold on. Let me get the chat opened up because pop out the chat. Yeah,
pop out the chat.
Where did it go? Oh, it's up here. All right.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. I was gonna like find a different way of doing this, and then I was like, oh, it's already Tuesday. I haven't had time to look into anything. So, oh well.
Yeah, my week's been gone by crazy.
Yeah, I've been off all this morning. I went to archery.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun actually, shooting arrows, bowling arrows and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
It's a little arm rash at the end of the day, though.
No, they have protective things you put on your arm.
Little guard thing, yeah.
But it's kind of cool because it's kind of like you have to think about it. You don't just shoot an arrow, but you have to actually, do a repetitive motion over and over again, and then you have to focus on where you're aiming and you're breathing, and it's not like Robin Hood. It's just like I said that too. I said it's just like golf. You have to repeat the same motion. And that's why I liked it. I was like, every time we have a vacation day, it's like, let's see if they have an open slot. We'll go shoot some arrows.
Nice. You guys ready?
I am
ready
when I hit record.
Oh, shoot. I should probably do that, huh?
Yeah, hit record. That's the
Sorry, I was the only one not to do it this time.
Yeah. All right, recording, speakers off, lights are
recording.
Press record.
What are we going to talk about first?
HomeTech. We're going to talk about HomeTech. Yeah.
I don't know much about NFL stuff. That's you guys.
I like mustard and I like donuts. Maybe I'll give this a shot.
All right, I'm going to go. Ready?
All right.
This is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, August 5th. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
From Powell, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast all about all aspects of home technology, home automation, mustard donuts. Evidently, that's disgusting, TJ.
Yeah, I don't know who found that, but
somebody in my family, because they know they don't like mustard.
I would give it a shot, but it's only going to be in New York City, so it's not going to be me.
Hard pass on that one. Mustard donuts, French's is giving them away for free because why would they be able to ever sell anything like that? That's disgusting. So, yeah. Anyway, but we had some news we missed this last month in the sports ball space, right? And I somebody sent this over to me, kind of ran across. I'd heard this in the past. Like we've all known the NFL Sunday Ticket was going to be up for auction basically and sell off. Like DirecTV's had it for like 30 years now. So if you wanted to watch like every single game on Sunday, that's possible. You would get the Sunday Ticket from DirecTV, get a bunch of TVs, put them in your sports bar, put them in your home, and you'd be able to watch everything. Well, there's a headline here, and this is dated back at the beginning of July. I just must have missed it for whatever reason, because I know I missed it because I'm not in the sports ball area. But here's the headline: NFL Sunday Ticket is moving to a streaming service from DirecTV. Commissioner Roger Goodell confirms the deal is expected this fall. So, not much to go on in the article here. Other than, we know it's moving away from DirecTV, which is a satellite provider, and moving to a streaming service. Confirmed. That means it's going to want somebody big. Somebody paid a lot of money for this. We're billions of dollars, right? Like somebody paid the NFL a ton of money for these streaming rights. And all I can think of is how badly this is going to go. if for every sports bar out there that has more than one TV that these streaming services are designed for, this is going to be just a hot mess. And I'm here for it, man. This is what integrators are for. Integrators, if you guys got to get ready. We don't know what is actually. Someone in the hub says they have sources and says it's Apple. So, and I'd like to think that this isn't like one of those super confidential things. Like industry insiders know that it's Apple. But can you guys imagine Apple TV having any kind of API whatsoever, where somebody could manage 30, 40 TVs in a sports bar from a Crestron touch panel? I just don't see it. It's not happening. Not happening.
Yeah, I think there's been some rumors that it's been Apple for quite a while now. When this news article came out a month ago, I think it's the first like confirmed time that somebody actually said, "Hey, it's going to come out to streaming services."
Yeah.
And there's been rumors for several months, though. I would even say probably a year or two now, where Apple might be a big contender to get this. And it would make sense. They have probably the most cash that anybody could just throw at it. So they're going to be able to easily get that. But what you're saying, Seth, is, a lot of these streaming services have a limit on accounts or streams that you can have at a time. So if you imagine, a sports bar with 30 TVs, and let's say, a top out for the accounts is like 4 streams at a time. So you're going to have 8 different accounts in order to watch streaming services on all 30 of these TVs. And if you multiply that by how many like restaurants or bars, a group owns, they might own 6 or 10 or 20 of them. There's going to be hundreds of accounts for people to keep like account of. And I don't see how it's going to happen. Like, I feel like they're just going to leave behind commercial places and they're just going to have to figure it out. Because I don't see Apple TV or whoever coming up with some kind of commercial streaming service solution for this. It's just going to be figured out on your own.
Yeah, I posted in the hub a couple of like DirecTV like integration type things that I've known of, and I've seen out in the wild too. Like I've seen there's one that integrates like directly with Just Add Power products. I can't remember like DirecTV Sports Bar. You can search for it, and it's in there. But what it does is it pulls all the guide data off of every channel off the DirecTV box, and you can actually present inside this app the guide for all of the TVs that you're on there, and just basically drag and drop what channels ESPN over here, ESPN2 over there, you want the football game over there, the hockey game over there. Like it's all available for you, and it's such a mature system at this point because it's 30 years old, and now it's going to switch over to streaming, which is it's so new.
They better not mess this up either, because streaming's not easy. I remember when DAZN was introduced NFL games, right? And they started streaming it, and for the first few streams, you don't mess with the NFL fans because they were complaining, they were mad, the buffering, the dropping, like they just better not screw this up. Streaming's still, a hard thing to do.
Yeah. And I mean, even I had been involved with a company called Muzak when I got out of college. That's what I worked for. But one of the major things we did was set up like these TV systems and sound systems in bars, and we'd get an emergency call like, "Hey, it's Friday. They're going into the weekend, and the DirecTV dish is not working, or you got to get up on the roof and re-aim it for them." And I'd run out to some TGI Fridays or something like that on 5:30, 7 o'clock on a Friday night. There's no TVs on at all in there because they can't get anything on the screen because it's all on a satellite. And I go up and wiggle it around, and get the L&B replaced or whatever, and it works. And I'm the hero for like 5 minutes, and they forget about me. So, life of a technician. Anyway,
yeah. That's right.
But yeah, so like the it's a major issue if you can't get those games pumped into a sports bar when they need to watch them. And I think this is going to work well for home. For in the home, like Apple has experience with delivering videos in the home, and they have agreements too. Like they're doing stuff right now with what is it, the MLB, and then Major League Soccer. That's why I'm getting MLS, Major League Soccer. They're doing like all the games. Every single game is going to be broadcast for the next 10 years, starting in 2023 through Major League Soccer. So like this is kind of a big deal. It's going to be a huge deal, and of course on that headline where it's like, it's expected to be finalized and announced this fall. It's like, well, who announces things in the fall? I know one company that likes to do that. So yeah, I think if it's Apple, we're sure to hear from them. And there has been, I guess it could be Apple or Amazon, because Amazon's done some investments into sports too. So we will have to wait and see, but I'm pretty sure if it came to money, I think Apple probably would win on that
3
one.
months, 3 months free NFL subscription when you buy an iPhone this fall.
Oh, well, there you go. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, I'm not a big sports ball watcher. You know, it's the NFL's fun, I guess, for the commercials during the Super Bowl, and that's about it. But I don't know. Like it's a big deal for a lot of people, and this is a multi-billion-dollar deal. This is going to be crazy. But I dread thinking about the integrations. Whoever figures it out, like on day one, is going to make a ton of money, but it's going to ruin a lot of sports bars. Because TJ, we were talking before the show, restaurants that like basically have to have DirecTV dishes mounted at the sports bar, but like there's like 20, 30 TVs, and every single one of them have a receiver behind the TV. I've been in those bars too. Now they're going to have an Apple TV. Like, is it going to play something all the time? Like, how's that going to work?
Already getting that request. So
yeah, exactly.
And it's nothing's even finalized yet. And I'm already getting restaurants contacting me like, hey, we want to put like an Apple TV or Roku behind each TV. And it's like, I would totally wait, but we can do it for you if you want.
Oh man. Well, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. Looking forward to it though. It's going to be fun to talk about. Anyway, let's move on here. Let's what do you guys say we jump into a couple of home tech headlines?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, Home Assistant's got a big announcement this week. The first one, partner that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, is Leviton. So Leviton's Z-Wave line of devices will now work locally and integrate seamlessly with the Z-Wave integration in in Home Assistant. That's a slip there. It requires a Z-Wave stick, of course. All the connectivity happens locally. Status updates and controlling devices happen instantly over there in Home Assistant. So it's nice to have that low latency connection. And each device that is connected to power will also act as a Z-Wave router to extend Z-Wave mesh locally. Leviton is working on adding firmware updates that are publicly available to download. But in Home Assistant, you can navigate to your device page and use the update device firmware option to upload the firmware from Leviton for your device. So it's kind of nice. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that Home Assistant is going to be rolling out this option for manufacturers to basically have a direct contact with them so they can get these firmware updates and everything kind of built into Home Assistant. And this is big. This is Leviton. First out of the gate, it sounds like. Gavin, what do you think about this thing?
Oh no, this is great. And Leviton's a big name, so for them to jump on first, it will open the doors for probably a lot of big names. They're probably already working with a bunch of other big names, but this will give them like direct access to probably an engineer for support. When you buy a Leviton product and you have Home Assistant, it kind of gives you that warm and fuzzy that, hey, these are going to work together. That's great and all, but this is the stuff like Matter's supposed to solve for us too. Like the last thing we need is these boxes having 5 to 10 labels on it saying works with this, and this, but not Google Home. That's like, I could see that happening eventually, but we need one label that just says works with Matter, and then we assume it works with everything at that point. That's my hope.
TJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. The very first company they announced is somebody that has experience in the professional and the DIY space. Leviton is a huge name in the regular integrator space. For a lot of the products, they make cabling and wall-mounted enclosures and those little in-wall enclosures as well. All kinds of stuff that people use to build houses and all that good stuff. And they have a wide array of devices on Amazon. So you can easily find them if you look up Z-Wave devices. So I think this is a great start to the partnership and the program that they have here. And it'll be interesting to see who else they add.
Yep. We'll have to keep an eye on it. It's a good it's good first out of the gate name to have. So I have to keep an eye on them, and good job, because I think this is really a good move forward for them, at least.
And honestly, I was expecting somebody smaller. I was expecting somebody like Innovelli or Zeus, that kind of thing. And not that there's anything wrong with those companies, but I wasn't expecting a major name like this to step up to the plate immediately.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Leviton knows who's installing their gear, and it's just an engineering. I mean, they have to have somebody there anyway. It's just it's somebody that you have an email for if something goes wrong. The Home Assistant crew can just reach out and say, hey, this firmware doesn't work. Can we figure out how to get this fixed or whatever. So it is nice. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. Let's move on here. Wemo, some news from Wemo this week. They announced an updated version of their in-wall dimmer switch this week. It's the new Wemo Smart Dimmer with thread. Cost a total of $60. It's a wired smart switch that lets you dim and turn lights on and off remotely. Works exclusively with Apple's HomeKit over Thread or Bluetooth, and it's available now from Belkin's web store and coming soon to Amazon, of course. Despite using Thread, the main wireless protocol for Matter, and having publicly announced it would launch Matter-ready products this summer, Wemo says the smart dimmer won't be upgraded to support the upcoming smart home standard. So I guess they're saying it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. HomeKit Focus is a new recent trend for the company, whose last two products, the Wemo Stage Scene Controller, the Smart Plug, and a video doorbell, only work with Apple's smart home platform. This means that the new Switch will use Apple's Home app exclusively and not the Wemo app, and will work with Siri over there for voice control. Gavin?
Why are you looking at me like that?
This is definitely your device, Gavin.
I always say don't buy devices based on hope or promises, because you just never know. A lot we've seen over the years, we get a lot of promises and they never come through. Some companies offering saying they're coming with HomeKit support, and like 5 years later they're still saying they're coming with HomeKit support. I'm not going to call out any names, but it's happened a number of times. Wait till Matter's out. If you want Matter devices, just wait till the Matter's out, because who knows if a company announces, hey, we're gonna add Matter devices to these switches, and then they later on say, but you have to buy new switches. Just wait till Matter's out before you start making your Matter decisions and get the device that actually has Matter support on it.
That's true. It's very true. But nobody cares about Matter at this point. So who's waiting for devices? I mean, everybody's been waiting for the past 3 or 4 years, I feel like. So it's like, if you're waiting at this point, I don't know what you've been waiting for. Just stop. It'll happen. Maybe.
I bought one of these Wemo. I've actually bought two of them. The Wemo Stage Scene Controller. It's like a 3-button keypad that you can get. The first one my daughter took and dropped it in the toilet, so that one was gone. And then I installed the second one on the wall with a nice little sticky tape thing, and it's got the nice trim that goes around. It looks like the Switch here in the picture when you're done with it, and it's really nice. But it uses a magnet to attach itself, so you can actually take it out and use it as a remote if you wanted to, or you can put it back. But the magnet's so loose, like every time you fumble around in the dark to hit the light on, it would just fall out and hit on the floor. And it happened so many times, whatever horrible little electronic soldering joints they had there stopped working. So now my daughter broke one and I broke one, so I don't have it anymore. And I have this nice thing stuck to my wall now that would fit a Wemo magnetic device. Thanks, Wemo. Yeah.
What's your PPB on that device?
PPB? I don't know what the PPB is on that.
What are they, like $60-$70?
Is it?
That's an expensive device that just breaks by itself.
Yeah, I mean, PPB now is I'm zero. What do you get with you multiply by 0? It's still 0 or divide by 0.
Actually, negative now.
Yeah, I'm in the hole. Thanks. So yeah, lesson learned. I'm not using these anymore. I'll find something else. The magnet's not very strong. It does work when it worked, but if you drop them too many times, or if you drop them in a toilet, they will cease to function. Just keep a note on that. All right, let's move on to the next story here. So some good news and integration that you would have thought have already happened. Google is rolling out an update enabling users of its most recent Nest doorbell and cams devices to stream their feeds directly to a TV. Much requested feature. It's been a long time coming, I guess. To do this, you have to have a Chromecast device with a Google TV or connected up to your TV, and that can be activated by Chromecast Voice Remote or other Google Assistant enabled smart speakers by saying, I have to say this because it's in the script here. Anyway, you say, hey, the Goog's there. Show me the front door camera on my TV, and it'll get the picture. That's actually really cool. Really cool feature. Like I have that with the randomly working with like HomeKit stuff, right? If I'm watching my Apple TV, somebody rings the doorbell, a picture of the thing will come up on the screen of the camera that's attached to the doorbell. So that's really cool. I'm glad that they can they finally got this working. It's kind of weird, huh? It's taking this long.
I had to check the date to make sure this is like a relevant, like a recent article. And it was just posted yesterday, so it's definitely recent. Why was this just not released at the same time whenever they launched the new doorbell?
It's like they're such a siloed company. They have all these features
can't talk to each other.
They just, it's like, well, that's the Chromecast guys. We can't let them get ahead. They'll take our jobs. It's like, you make doorbells.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. When these companies get so big that they can't work on the home specific home technology that kind of goes in and makes all this stuff work. It just blows my mind. They can't do that. So.
Well, and it totally makes sense how like giant companies like TP-Link have like 5 different smart home brands. It's like everybody's just doing their own little thing, and they're like, "Oh wait, that's what you're doing? Huh? Similar to what we're doing. That's weird."
Well, Matter will save us all, like you said, right? Is that what you said? I don't remember.
Not me.
All right. So let's get this over with. Rip off the Band-Aid here. Canada.
Yes.
I guess Bell is saying that will introduce internet speeds of 8 gigabits per second starting in September. The company says the symmetrical download and upload speeds will be the fastest in North America, along with major providers. The new speeds will be first available in parts of Toronto, where download speeds will be 5 times faster than cable technology, and upload speeds will be 250 times faster. This is ridiculous, Gavin. I just
it is.
I can't. And at least it's Bell. It's going to work. It's not like Rogers. It's not going to go down.
Hey. Yeah, that's true. You know what? You know what's actually from the Rogers outage a few weeks. One of the good things that has happened is it's really kind of stepped up the competition, because when Rogers went down, Bell was quick to jump all over and say, "Hey, we're still working," right? And since then, I've noticed, like in my neighborhood, they're running all the new Bell lines. They've been working on it for the last month or so. And I'm going to be getting Bell anytime soon. And there's a lot of people in the neighborhood just waiting to switch over, because they give you right now, Bell will give you a gig down and a gig up symmetrical. And that's all I want. I want the upload. With Rogers right now, I'm getting in my area a gig down, but they only give me 30 up for some reason. Right. So that's why you see them say 250 times faster is because on Rogers, our upload speeds are really bad. But Bell, like 8 gigabits, I don't know what I would do at 8 gigabits. I'd have to buy some new hardware to support that 8 gigabits, first of all. But it would be nice to have. I don't need 8 gigabits. I just want like a symmetrical 1 gigabit, and I'm happy.
Well, the good news is you have plenty of room in your rack to put a bunch of 10 gig equipment. So I don't see why not, Gavin.
Ever since I've met you guys and I've joined the show and been in the, you guys have spent thousands of my dollars. That's only a couple of American dollars, but it's thousands of my Canadian dollars on new equipment, new stuff. Oh, I just wait till we get into the rack section.
Isn't that what friends are for?
Yeah.
We just want you to have nice things, Gavin. You were just going to throw it all in a closet before and just close the door. And we were like, no, bring it out.
My wife has told me to find new friends.
Well, just take comfort in knowing that our internet speeds are horrible here. And I think our FCC just came out and said, maybe internet speeds, we will only let these companies call high-speed internet if it's 200 megabits down, not gigabits, megabits, 200 megabits down and 10 No, maybe it was like 5 up or something.
Yeah, I don't understand why nobody cares about the upload. Like, I get that like a lot of people don't use it and everything, but we should have like 50 to 100. Come on,
Yeah.
why is it got to be 5?
Even our cell phone speeds are getting so good now that they're now introducing what do you call it, like wireless internet to the home, I guess you could say, where
Yeah,
and that's even faster than the Rogers one I'm getting over the wired now, right? Like it's getting so good now. I'm looking forward to even seeing that come in, because then you don't have to wait on wires coming to your home, and it's just a device you put in your window and you now get gigabit down to the home.
Well, what's nice too is like I have the T-Mobile one that I use for my work stuff, and it's $50 a month, and you basically get whatever speeds they can get you at the time. But every time I've done a speed test, it's been like 200 to 600 megabits per second,
You see, that's the
which is
difference.
crazy for $50 and just like available when you plug it in.
Yeah, see, you guys are only paying $50 for your crappy speed. Like I'm paying like 120 for my good speeds,
Yeah,
right?
no,
Like,
$50 is an
like
outlier because my Spectrum is like $90 a month for like
okay,
200 or 300
okay,
megabits per second.
okay. I don't feel so bad now because that's like 150 or something Canadian dollars. Like
Yeah.
you're getting ripped off.
The T-Mobile one is the cheapest one by far for like how good it is. And I think like Verizon has one too, but it's probably super expensive because it's Verizon.
Well, we can run a bell line from up here down there,
Yeah.
and then we'll
You'll
just
have
share
plenty
you.
of bandwidth. Yeah.
Yeah, we got 8 gigabits now, so I'm gonna split that off and give you a little chunk. You can jump on
Just
my
run it right
network.
through the lake.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, no fun. We don't have fun thing. We don't have nice things here. You have the nice rack up there, the nice internet, and we will just be stuck with the 200 down and 5 up. It's just so ridiculous that it's not even what they're talking about. I was hoping that we would see like those 5G, like the new 5G stuff everybody was all freaking out about. I was hoping we start seeing those like pop up, but I haven't really seen anything happen with that. Like
The cell towers, you mean?
Well, I mean, I've seen the cell towers, and my cell phone has it.
They're
from time
everywhere
to time.
here now.
Yeah, they're still planting them, but I haven't seen it roll. Like, there's not a major push to roll it out to residential. Or I'm not seeing that. So, like, if you listen to, I don't know, the CDA podcast 2 years ago, this was like the thing that was going to happen, and we were just going to have to change the way we wire homes and yada yada yada. Like, but that just, it hasn't happened. Like, and it doesn't. It's all quiet. Like, I haven't heard or seen anything other than like them setting up the towers. Every couple blocks they're putting up a little light pole tower thing in a couple of neighborhoods. So if that's the density they're going to have to go for on this thing, I don't know. It's going to take them a long time before they get to like a critical mass on towers and what they can do for residential homes in an area like mine where it's like it's home. We're not very dense here, I guess is what I'm saying. Like it's the homes are very well, they're not, it's decent sized lots, like everything's spread out, and it's just like urban sprawl. If they've got to put in a tower every couple of blocks, like that's not going to be a very profitable thing for them to offer high speed internet into the home, unless the price is up there. I don't know. I haven't heard or seen anything about that since a couple of years back when everybody was freaking out that 5G was coming, and it just kind of like came and went. And I kind of smile when I see it on my phone from time to time, but that's about it. Like nothing. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of always been the problem with 5G is that, and when people are talking about it, they're like, oh, it's going to be great. We're going to have these super fast speeds, and it does go super fast. But the problem is you do need those cell towers everywhere. I don't know the actual range of them, but it's way more than 4G and definitely way more than 3G was.
Well, it's almost like line of sight you have to have.
Absolutely.
Like you have to have antennas on the outside of the house facing and seeing, like, a bunch of trees can't be on the way. Like, it has to see the tower. So
yeah,
there's some challenges to getting this rolled out.
Yeah, and it's not available for everybody just yet. Like in my area, I can get it where I live. But if I go 2 or 3 miles down the road, it's not available for a couple of my clients in that direction. So I think they're kind of limiting where they're allowing it to go, just because they know that their performance is going to be subpar. But it is available. It's out there. I don't know if it's worth switching from like Spectrum to T-Mobile, exactly. I kind of like that hardwire connection, even if I do hate Spectrum. But for, somebody that doesn't need the fastest speed in the world, the home 5G thing works great.
Right.
It'll work great for a small condo. It'll work for, you know, a retired couple, whatever. And it's $50 a month. Like, you really can't
Yeah.
lose out on that.
I feel like it's kind of like the same solution that Starlink. It's like it's better than DSL, you know, like and
if
I guess
that's what you have, that
yeah.
it's absolutely better. But the
Yeah.
problem with 5G is that it's not something that you're going to see in a lot of rural areas. Whereas, you know, satellite is, because satellite can go anywhere. But 5G, you know, requires these companies to come in and put these cell towers everywhere, and it's just not going to happen for rural America. They don't even have, you know, broadband internet in rural America. They're definitely not going to go and install a bunch of 5G towers.
Yeah, Ty's making a good point, and I remember reading about this that the 5G rollout did get slowed down because of like some communication.
Airplanes.
Yeah, it was going to crash the airplanes. Like, evidently they weren't talking to the air traffic controllers when they were rolling out the spec, and it's like, wait, that used the same bandwidth that we use to make airplanes land and take off, and like you can't do that near an airport. And that kind of, you know, if you think about where airports are, it's kind of in places that need to have this stuff rolled out. So, like cities.
Yeah, I always thought it was hilarious because they spent the past like 20 years telling people they couldn't use their cell phones on planes because it was going to crash it. And then for like a year, they're like, oh, no, you can use a cell phone.
Cool.
Like, nobody cares about that anymore. And then they're like, oh, wait a minute. This 5G thing, though, it's going to crash all the airplanes. We better stop it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like one of those, like, they're just guarding some spectrum that they have availability. I don't know. I think in that case, it was like older planes that hadn't been updated to the new autopilot or something like that would definitely have interference. But you don't want any plane having interference with the autopilot.
Problems.
Yeah, just so some guy down there can get like, you know, faster internet than DSL. Like, I don't know. Let's err on the side of safety with large metal objects falling out of the sky. All right. Well, and then that said, like, speaking of large metal objects in the sky, the satellite stuff, the Starlink, have you seen the latest on that? They're getting slowed down too because they're like oversaturated, and the link speeds that were like, what were they getting, like 100 down, maybe more?
They were getting more, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like really slow now. It's like 15 down. So it's not much better than DSL anymore, and people are not very happy about it. So,
and that was some of the things I heard in the initial testing when people initially got it. They said you get great speeds, but as soon as other people start jumping on it started to drop down significantly. So, you know, I guess their solution is just to throw up more satellites in the sky, I guess, right? I mean, I figure it'd be cheaper just to put a pole in someone's yard than it is to throw a satellite up there.
You would think, but that's not what they're banking. They're banking on the new second gen satellites that they're going to be launching. But those aren't scheduled to go up until Starlink, the Starliner rocket, is like able to lift off the Earth without exploding. So yeah, that they're actually waiting. Like, the improvements will come with those second gen satellites, and those won't be. They're too heavy to actually launch from the Falcon platform that they have right now. So they have to wait until the new the big shiny rocket gets launched up into the air, and that'll carry their second gen satellites. And supposedly that's going to help with the bandwidth issues that they're having. But again, more people get on it. It's physics, you know, it's going to get slowed down. So, yeah, anyway, let's move on here. That's pretty much all we have for Home Tech headlines tonight, but all the links and topics we discussed tonight, well, most all of them, I have to go back and listen to the show and edit a bunch of this stuff in, but can be found over at our show notes at HomeTech.fm/398. Getting up there, guys. All right. And nothing in the mailbag this week, but we did have a topic that came up inside of the hub about travel routers. And I forget actually now who was asking about it.
Wasn't it Adam?
I think it was Andy.
Adam or Andy.
Yeah.
I think it was Andy. Anyway, to go back and scroll up.
Yep, it is Andy.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
There you go.
Andy was asking about what everyone used for travel routers, and I've been kind of playing around with this idea for a while. Even like in the past couple of years when we've gone to like a hotel or something, I've brought a little. It's made by GLINet. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this company or not, but it's a little travel router. And basically, what I first started bringing it for was because when you go to the hotels and they have that like login thing, the little portal, login portal, guest portal, or whatever you want to call it, You set up your phone on it, and then you have to go set up your Wi-Fi. So now the iPad comes out, you got to set that up. And if you bring an Apple TV or whatever along with you, that's really, you really can't get that to work with it most of the time. So when I started bringing the Apple TV with us, I was like, well, I'll look into these travel routers. You get the travel router to log onto the Wi-Fi, and it sits on the Wi-Fi for the entire time you're there. And then everything on the other side of it can attach that travel router, and the thing upstream supposedly doesn't know that you have like 15 devices connected to your travel router, and that's what you're using. So a lot of these, like the little GL nets, have a lot of features in them. Like you can dial in like NordVPN profiles into them, and use a VPN. So like once you're connected, you there's a little switch on the side that you can actually program. You flip the switch, your VPN connects, you get a little green light, and you're good to go. Like it's a nice platform. It runs off the old WRT software, the router software, if you guys remember that one too. And you can actually get into like the back end of that and make even more changes if you wanted to. But for under, I don't know, it's like not a very expensive router. I want to say it was under $100, probably under $50, because it's like a little 2-port router with 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz and a couple of ports on it. It's a really cost effective way of getting online and just doing the basics. And it's very easy most of the time to set up. And I only had a couple of issues with it while I was traveling in Europe. And it was all caused by me because I had forgotten that on my phone I had left the VPN on, and every time I tried to connect to a device locally, it would just freak out and not work, and I couldn't figure out why, and I ended up resetting the router, which deleted all the profiles and settings out of it, and I kind of had to start over. And at that point I was like, well, now I can't watch the US side services over my router. I'll just use my phone. So anyway, long story to go to, like, this is what I was using, but now I found actually a new platform that I'm kind of moving to. I'm doing some investigating on it now, but it's actually, have you guys seen Firewalla? Podcast verbally.
Yeah, sometimes I nod and I forget we're an audio podcast, but yeah, I've heard of Firewall. I haven't actually had my hands on one though.
It's got that nice gold strip across it.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different ones of these, and they start off at like the Firewalla Red, which is but that thing only has like 100 megabits bandwidth, and so don't bother with that one. Like if you have any modern connectivity, you're going to get stuck with the purple and gold, which are the two higher end routers. But so I got a gold one not too long ago, and I've been kind of tinkering around with it. And basically, so I run pfSense at the house here, and I was looking at this, and just about there's only one feature I'm missing, but every single feature that pfSense has, this has natively, or not natively, it has built onto it, but it also has like a super clean like app and configuration page that you can go to and get things set up. Like, and like if there is a dummies version of pfSense, this is it. And all these boxes here are actually like Raspberry Pi type devices. It's actually a Pi device. Like you can log into it using the username Pi and whatever the password is that you set up on it. So it's actually a really, I think on the gold you can actually run Docker on, Gavin. So you'd be happy to hear that. So you can actually run some of the things I am missing off pfSense on this directly, and kind of like tie it in that way. So what's neat about this is you can do site-to-site VPNs pretty easily. So with one of the smaller ones, like the red one that we were just talking about, not good for the home, but perfect for travel. I could bring that out on the road, throw it in, maybe the blue, because the blue one actually has sometimes you need a hardwire link out of it. So say the blue, get that one, throw that one in the bag. And then when you get out to the hotel or wherever, Airbnb, you plug that one in, get all your devices onto that, and then you can turn on the site-to-site VPN, and all your stuff basically lives back at home. So I can't stress how much easier the interface to this is versus pfSense. Like pfSense is like god level router, right? But it's very unwieldy as how once you understand it, it makes a lot of sense, but you really have to be in the network space to really understand it. This thing is by like plug and play pfSense, and that's the best way I can describe it. It's got almost feature matched exactly what pfSense has, including like Unbound, which is like a DNX proxy. It's got a couple of other things that I've been like turning on. I think Pi-hole is directly built into it. It has like an ad block built into it. So it's in it. All this is like toggle switch, easy to install, flip on. As soon as you plug it in, and you'll start getting alerts. I saw that how much two of my LG TVs were uploading data to the basically tracker websites, and I'm like, block and block. LG TVs, you're never getting online again. So the LG TVs have no way of actually getting online, even though they're plugged into internet. So yeah, I can't recommend this router more right now because it seems to be really cool. Mileage may vary. We'll see how reliable it is and how well it works, when weird things happen. But so far, out of the box with the app and everything, super easy to set up and get deployed. And you have like a really, really strong like router and platform to work on. I'm kind of excited about the Docker thing. Gavin, thanks. Got because there's a lot that you can do with, like, you can actually run Home Assistant on your router. You could actually run the what's the HomeKit one, the little HomeKit Homebridge.
Homebridge.
Yeah,
Hoops.
you can run that right on the router. Like it's not like a full blown computer like you can do with a pfSense, but at the same time, it's not nothing. Like it's not weak, but you can. I've seen people run Unify controllers on this, right? So you get rid of the old USG, put this in. It's got all of the features that that Unify purports to have, but they actually work. Like all the traffic monitoring and all that stuff is in here, and I can tell you by opening my app how many like gigabytes of data I've used since I plugged this thing in. Like it's in there, it works, it looks good, and it's consumer level easy to use. So very happy with it so far. I'm going to be exploring this company a little bit more in the future and seeing and maybe grabbing another box for the travel router side of things. A lot more expensive to go this route than it is to go with like the little under $100 version. But having this at home, it's got WireGuard built right into it, and the WireGuard install was stupid easy. Like, turn on WireGuard. Here's steps 1, 2, and 3, and 4. What you need to do, you just go down the page, click, 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 click. It jumps over. Here's where you install the app. Here's the setting you need to make to flip this on, and type in a user name or whatever, a client name, and then hit this button, and it copies the profile right over to the app. Stupid easy. Like it was a million times easier than what I've been doing with pfSense, and giving me roughly the same experience at the end of the day. So pretty happy with this so far.
And site-to-site VPN, that's important. Like when you're
Yeah.
on the road and you want to plug this in, that's a great feature to have, just because you can access all your content from your home that you're used to. Like if you're traveling in another country, that's great to have. But also security, right? Just having that VPN is great for security. Now, Bruno did bring up a good point, and I actually, when I traveled to Boston in my hotels, they were like this too. They didn't have RJ45 ports. They had it was just Wi-Fi. So I had to connect to it. So would you be able to use this on something in a situation like that, where you connect to their Wi-Fi and then you can reshare that out and then do the VPN over it?
That's what I've got to look into. You can do that with the GLI nets, and that's what I like about them, because you can connect with their little boxes. You can connect on one. Like I usually connect on the 2.4 gigahertz band, and then I have all my devices on the 5 gigahertz. And just kind of like, because most everybody at a hotel or whatever, they're using the 5 gigahertz and polluting that up. So I hang off, and it's slow anyway. I'm going to go with the punchy 2.4, which I'm guaranteed to get a good strong signal on. But at the same time, that GLI net, I have the option of plugging it in and getting that. If this doesn't do that, I'm not sure. I've got to dig into it and figure out if I can do. Actually, it looks like the purple box will do that. It says that the feature's called Wi-Fi WISP, and I believe it says yes here in the feature list. So I'm pretty sure I'll just have to check it out. Again, that one's $329, so the other one is not that much. It's like a quarter of that. So if that at the most, but like at the same time, I can take that GLI net with the WireGuard setup this has. I could be on the road and physically set up the WireGuard installation and certificates and everything on my phone remotely, plug it into the GLI net and connect remote. If I didn't do it before I left the house, and it would work. So it's really a decent setup and a decent router, and it's hard for me to explain, like, without having. I don't know too many people that put their hands on these, but it is actually a decent platform. It looks like. I know I've actually spoken with the owner of the company, and the whole crew there is like ex Cisco people, and they've just kind of started up this company, and so it's an interesting company so far. An interesting product. I'm just going to keep my eye on it and see how much further we can get with it. What I can do with this thing. Anything else? You guys have it? Yes, no, TJ, anything?
Sounds exciting.
Podcast. You gotta talk.
TJ doesn't travel enough.
No, it's so late. It's so late right now.
Yeah, I don't travel with my Wi-Fi stuff, I guess. It's not like a big concern for me. I mean, I see the value of the firewall, obviously, and I think I should probably get one to play with it. But I have my own little travel router that I bring with me to jobs in case I need to like tap into somebody's network without getting their Wi-Fi password or something. But I guess I just don't use that feature when I'm traveling.
Yeah, no, it's only if you're there for like a couple of days that I would bother setting this up. Like if you're there more than maybe 2 nights, that if you're there overnight, I don't bother. Like sometimes I'll break out the router, plug it in, and get it set up so the phones get on. But I don't do like the Apple TV or anything like that. It's just a waste of time. It takes too much effort. But if I'm there for like maybe 2-3 days, 2-3 nights especially, I'd break this out and get it set up. But yeah. If you're not doing, it just depends on the length of stay and what you're looking for. I
just don't watch TV when I travel, so it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, but it all depends too. Like if when we were traveling, I put that Wise camera in the
oh yeah, that's a good idea.
So I had the Wise camera set up, like sitting in the living room when you walked in the door to see if anybody came in. But that was also connected to my setup and able to be recorded that way. So
genius.
Yeah, you can bring a whole security system with you.
That's what I was about to say. You can bring like a little like a Ring system or a Wise system with you. Open my door.
Exactly. It's too good. Well, that's not the pick of the week. That was just like suggestions that I had. I don't know. So Gavin, you don't have any travel router suggestions or anything like that?
No, not really. Like when I travel, I just like TJ. I don't usually like watch TV or anything. I usually fall asleep and wake up early, and then I'm back on the road again, right? But if I do, then if I'm using my phone, I would throw on the VPN on my phone, or my computer's all VPN if I have a computer with me, right? And I just watch whatever's on their TV.
Right. Yeah, I guess. I mean, the biggest thing that I think that the travel router thing has done is simplify that. Like, where everybody's in. My wife wants me to type in the thing on hers, and like I got to get the computer set up too. And like it simplifies that, but it also hangs on a lot better than my phone, because you end up leaving with your phone. You have to come back in, and you're like, oh, I got to type my room number in. What's my last name again? Like you have to remember all that stuff and how many days you're staying and all that good stuff to match up with whatever portal you're using. And like this seems to, like, once I get on, it doesn't turn off. Like it always stays connected. And I mean, it could be talking to China the whole time. I don't know what it's doing, buying Bitcoins or something, but like it's going through and it actually maintains that connection. So I think that's actually, like, if you're there for a couple of days and you don't ever want to deal with like having to log in, that this actually kind of works to your advantage there too. So anyway, let's move on. Not the pick of the week, but definitely something you guys should check out. Get the GLI net thing. If I get the new firewall, I send one of you guys one of the GLI net that I have, and you guys can check it out.
In the words of James, it's cute. So maybe I'll get one.
Yeah, no, it's actually
got cute little wings on the side. Looks like it's gonna fly away.
It does.
A little duck or something. Who knows?
Well, I don't know if those antennas do anything, but it is actually very small. Yeah, there's a picture of like it slipping into a pocket.
It just the antennas actually just rotate a bunch, and it'll just move around your house, so you get whole house Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it just spins.
a good
Yeah,
idea.
so it looks like this is $75. Looks like in the US it says so.
Not bad.
Much cheaper than the Firewall route,
A
but
little bit.
not near the fun experience that you get like through the app and everything.
Or the fun colors.
Yeah, fun. Exactly. The colors are nice. All right, we'll put links to the show, those in the show notes, and you guys can go check them out. But not the pick of the week. The pick of the week this week has to be roughly the same time we were having this conversation. Richard posting how he labels his outlets and wall switches, and I don't know why this never even remotely occurred to me. I take things off the wall all the time to rewire things like I'm an electrician officially, and the way I find out what is hooked up is if the hot wire actually touches something that it shouldn't, and I get a spark, it'll pop the breaker, and that's how I figure it out.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you hold on to it a little bit. That way you get that nice shock.
Yeah, on the back of your hand is the best part too. That's where it feels the best. Right there on the back of your hand where it's nice and tender. Oh, but no, this is genius. Hey, has on there like what breaker panel, what breaker. I'm stupefied. It's one of those things I just literally never thought of. Like
it's like he's a professional electrician. That's weird,
know, right? It's amazing. So yeah, do that. Like we'll put a picture of this in the show notes. This will be our cover tonight. Gavin, we were talking about your rack earlier, and this is one of those things I was like, why don't you take the wires and plug them into the patch port and then bring them back out, and then you just have this nice clean look to the front of your rack, and you're like, I never thought of that. I'm like, oh, it's just one of those things like I do all the time, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I would have done, but if you've never done it before.
Yeah, like it's my first rack. But before we get into the rack talk, like, no, this was great. I've heard of electricians, they either write it on the inside of the plate, the face plate. I've heard them do it that way, or they just scribble it on. Richard's, of course, is a lot nicer. In my house, when I first moved in, the first thing I did, I actually drew out a map of all my circuits in the house, and I drew like what they controlled in every room they were in and everything like that. And I have that right by my panel. So when I need to know, how to turn off this, what breaker it's on, I just look at that map. It tells me, I flip that breaker and I'm good. So I have a similar setup like this. And I recommend this for everybody. Label your breakers like properly, because when you go in there and you just see first floor, it's like, what on the first floor? The first floor lights, the first floor outlets, like what on the first floor? The best thing to do is create a map of your house of all the switches, lights, outlets, and just label them all. And that it will make your life so much easier, especially when you start doing smart switches, like trying to find where that breaker is for that switch. Sometimes you turn off things you really don't want to turn off. And I've been there.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying when I go to like a client's house and I'm like, oh, well, I need to turn this outlet off so I can add a new one or change it out or something. I'm like, do you know which one it is? No, I've never found it before. And you're just sitting there flipping off random breakers and, hey, is that off? No. Okay, hold on. Check this one. Oh, just turn your fridge off. Sorry about that.
The breaker that controls whichever outlet you're trying to find is always that last breaker in the thing that you never switched off. Like that, I'll go through like 8 of them, and the 9th one is that one. Like it drives me nuts.
Yeah, I always turn off like all. This is what we were talking about last week, and I was like complaining about the microwave oven not having the time on it because I'm always flipping the switch on that thing trying to find
the other
right breaker. Yeah, it's always that one, and who would know? Like it's one breaker for the microwave, right? Because that's typically how it gets its own dedicated 20. You flip it off, and like what turned off in the house, I don't know. And you turn it back on, you hear beep, and you're like, oh, it was that thing.
Yeah.
What a pain. What a pain. Anyway, yeah, this is a great idea. I'm gonna start doing this in the future.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, it's easier said than done. Exactly. I have the
label maker's out in the garage though. Oh well.
Yeah, it's out in the car and it's hot. Yeah, that's exactly what will happen. But I like it. This is really nice. He's got a nice Oro going in. It looks like, right? That's Oro.
Yeah, I think it's Oro.
Yeah. So Very nice. Very good idea. I got to start. I got to step up my game and start doing this too one of these days. So anyway, let's move on here. If you have any feedback, questions, comments, picks of the week, or great ideas for a show, give us a shout. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. All right, Gavin, we've been teasing this all show, and we talked about it quite a bit before the show. So, but it's because what we do. We don't ever save anything for this show. All the good discussion happens. We should just like start the broadcast before then. Like everybody can hear us talking about all this stuff before the show. But our project updates. Gavin's got the biggest update I think so far. The rack is up. The rack is in, and it's beautiful, man.
It's a work in progress, and I have to admit I spent way too much money. I overspent.
You're not even done yet.
You're not done.
I'm not even done yet. Yeah, like
way over budget.
I sourced the rack, and then I started getting into the rack parts, and then that just started adding up. And then there's like, oh, I need another part. I want a shelf for this, and I need a, So, but you know what? I'm happy I did it. It's cleaned up. Like the setup I had before was just like it was messy. This rack actually looks a lot cleaner. It's a 32U, and it's much taller than I was expecting, right? Much taller, but I really like having all that space. And, I put my server on a slide out drawer, so I can slide it out, easily service it, get in there. I like having a slide out keyboard. All those little things just make, when you have to work on something down there so much nicer. And it's so much cleaner. And like getting tips from you guys, like run the wires here, do this, I don't do a lot of racks, but once you say that, it's like, oh, that makes sense, So for my first rack, I still have a lot of wire cleanup to do, but I think I did a pretty all right job, like
this is great for first effort at everything. This is way better than my first effort at a rack. And you'll learn. I mean, you'll go in there and you'll take stuff out and you'll be like, oh, I messed it up, and then you won't put it like mine. Like it was nice when I first started, but this is garbage now. And I'm like the other day, I'm like, I need to just start over. You need to pull everything out and start over. But no, this is great. It looks good. You have all this empty space though, man. You've got to fill this up.
I'm gonna get another PDU I want to throw in there.
I have all the power. You didn't even know about that. You got the front side you're worried about. The whole back side's free and clear, man. You can put
I could put other things in the back of this rack.
So many rack mounted watt boxes can fit back there.
I gotta stop hanging out with you guys. No, it got all my cables coming in, like I have a feeling that the next thing I may invest in is probably an upgrade of the Unify Dream Machine. I might not, now that I have a rack, everything I buy, I want to be rack mounted, and I have the Dream Machine that's the round one. I'm like, man, I
gotta buy a new one.
I know. So like, it's a never ending story, like, I just got to figure out how I can order that so the box, doesn't come in when the wife's home.
You got to get on that Unify lottery is what you got to do.
Oh, and then just trying to get one of those. But no, like cleaning up the rack, I got to do a lot of rack cleanup, and I'm loving, the final outcome. It's so much smaller, so much cleaner, and I'm sure the spiders will love the warmth coming out of it. Every now and then I have to go down there and just, dust out the cobwebs, vacuum up the spiders. They leave a mess with all the food they don't finish.
That's normal. That's all normal stuff.
Yeah. For free barbecue.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Gavin, the only thing I want to know, it looks nice. It's a little sloppy. You got to clean it up, whatever.
Thanks.
But when are you going to replace these screws with black ones? Like I can't stand all the silver on top of the black stuff.
I'm like, where did these come from?
Yeah, like you need to replace them.
One of the devices actually came with black screws, but it's only gonna be for that one device. So, do I gotta buy a whole bunch of? I gotta get all black screws now.
Yeah, the cage nuts don't matter, but the rack screws do.
I wouldn't have put it in. I would have waited.
Yeah, I mean, you need the same color. I mean, and you could like do a Sharpie or like spray paint or something, but that's not really efficient. You just need to buy new rack
Unify.
screws.
The Unify product's already white, so you don't have to worry about swapping that one. But the rest of them,
No, you got to swap that out because it's not rack mountable. So
no, he's got a Unify switch in there.
Oh yeah, I was talking about the UDM.
Yeah.
I'm just happy just having a rack down there. It's cleaner than it was before. I don't care
rack
about
mounted
the color.
camera, rack mounted monitor.
you guys.
Rack
I'm
mounted
I thought-
boombox.
I thought you were getting the rack mount. See, I see you got your keyboard there, but I thought you were getting the rack mount keyboard with the monitor. So I'm kind of disappointed that
Have you
Yeah,
It
seen
just
the prices of
automatically
those?
pop up when it
that pops
comes
up.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually looked at that and it's expensive. So I was
It's
thinking of
very
getting.
expensive.
I was thinking of just getting a slide out shelf that I can lay that monitor down on, and I'll slide it out and lift it up, and then I can view it.
Ah,
As needed.
like a
That would be
peasant.
nice. Okay, I'll automate it. I'll put like a spring on it, so when I pull it out, it pops up
Ooh.
on its own or something like
There
that.
I
you
like
go.
motorization. We're talking more money
Yeah.
here. All right, let's do
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, but do-it-yourself motorization.
More
is
Gavin,
less than
more Gavin
$2,000.
dollars.
Yeah.
PPR went up, the price per rack.
PPRU, yeah.
I gotta stop talking to you guys about this stuff.
This is great. This is a really good job. Really, really happy you're able to get this put together because it does look good, and I'm glad you're happy with it because that's a huge rack too, man. We both made the same mistake. It's like, I don't think that's that big. I mean, I measured a couple times and then I ended up ordering the wrong one anyway. So
Like I have
Whoops.
the monitor on the top, and the only saving grace is the fact that I'm 6'2", so it doesn't seem as tall to me. But if you for someone shorter, that monitor is way too high. I can post that in the mounted too high forums.
Is
it's a
this-
little rearranging. You could actually mount that monitor in the rack, like right at the top, and then it's all kind of like one clean unit.
I need
But-
like a monitor, I guess they have monitor mounting things that I can put on it.
Yeah, there's like little brackets you can get for that, and I've actually
Bracket
like
mounts.
constructed them myself. It's not very difficult to do. The monitors have like the ANSI screws on the back. They're all like 200 by 200, millimeter or 200 by 200 millimeters. Like they're not big, so you can actually like just
use anything.
use any piece of metal and drill a hole through it. And
I just googled it and I see a Visa mount. Yeah, not
Visa.
You could even make a wooden one, which I've seen many times before.
Yep.
no.
You can't see it. It's behind the monitor.
Yeah.
So
That's right. It
Thanks
doesn't
for
matter.
spending more money. Thanks for spending more of my money.
hey, we're here for we're ideas. We're here for your ideas. So
Amazon
ideas
order.
cost money. Well, speaking of ideas that cost money, TJ's
I might have spent more on mine, Gavin. I don't know.
TJ writes in and says over the weekend, "Hey, I just started my car from Home Assistant." What?
Yeah. So I this past weekend or this past week, I got a keyless entry installed in the work van. It did not come with one from the factory. And anybody that doesn't have keyless entry at this point, you probably hate every time you have to unlock your door, physically pulling your key out, sticking it in the lock, turning it, and then opening the door, right? Every modern car has keyless entry, and I was like, I don't really need it. It'll be fine. And then after like 4 months of just doing that every single time, I just kind of got annoyed with it. So I finally decided to get keyless entry installed. Originally, I just wanted keyless entry. I just wanted a keyless remote to get in. But everybody I talked to is basically like, yeah, you might as well just get a remote start. Like it's going to be a little bit more money, but you're going to get a lot more features out of it. And nobody really just does a basic keyless entry installation. And I was like, fine, let's do the remote start. Why not? And I started thinking about it and I was like, the remote start's cool, but it would be nicer if I could have a cell phone app with that. So that way, if I'm on a job site and I lock my keys in the van, maybe I could pull my cell phone out and unlock the van. And the first time that I do this, it'll save me, a half day of waiting for the tow truck to come and unlock the van. So I got it. It works great. I literally just press a button in the app and it starts my van. I can lock or unlock it from the van or from the phone. There's different tiers for the subscription plan. If you buy the one for like $6 a month, you get GPS coordinates and everything. So you can actually tell where it's at all times. You can tell the inside temperature. You can tell if the hood is open, if the doors are unlocked. A lot of different statuses of it, the battery voltage at the time, all that kind of information that nobody really needs. But I decided, this weekend I was like, it'd be really cool if I could tie this into my home automation platform. So that way I could, lock the van every night at 9 p.m. Let's say one night I forget that the van's unlocked. It'll just lock itself and that'll be great. And right now I use Smart Things. Smart Things didn't have anything, but somebody made a driver using an API that they found from Drone Mobile And it does everything it says it does. You can do pretty much everything the app has. You can get on Home Assistant. So I have it's card on Home Assistant now, and it tells me the information. It tells me the battery voltage. I can lock or unlock the van from Home Assistant. I can start it, all that kind of fun stuff. So I was able to set up a home automation routine to just automatically lock my van every night at 9 p.m. And it is the best thing in the world. I am.
I think that escalated quicker than Gavin's rack.
Yeah,
that went from like, I want to unlock my doors. I want to have remote start. Oh, I want to. Oh my gosh, TJ.
Yeah, and honestly, like I was not. It's not like I was going out to spend this much money, right? Like originally, I was like, oh, this should be like $200 or $300. Like I just want a keyless entry. But then I was like, well, no, you might as well do a remote start. It's gonna be better. And it's like $500, and I'm like, well, heck, what's another $200 to get cellular? Yeah. And $4 a month, I think, is what the basic plan costs. That gets you, basic app access. It doesn't get you GPS coordinates. But it'll still tell you, if the hood's open and all that good stuff. So $770 later and $4 a month, and I can start my van from Home Assistant or my phone. So that's pretty nice.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you need to go get it, Seth. I mean, you got to travel quite a bit though. It looks like so.
Yeah, well, we're looking up where I have to go to actually get this installed. It's not at a.
I think it's like 20 or 30 miles away. If you didn't want to Best Buy.
Yeah, exactly. Go to the Geek Squad to get it done. But yeah, I don't know. I've recently dropped another few $1,000s on my car for the maintenance. That it's just I love throwing money at this car. Like it's great. It's great.
See, now you owe it to yourself to get something nice for the car. It's all been maintenance now. Now you need something nice.
It was air conditioning.
that's a necessity.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't like my secret was like I was like, oh, I can live with this. Like I'm pretty sure I know what the problem was, but I was like I can live with this. I can let it do its thing, and basically once you get on the highway, it's all good to go. Well, like my wife got to ride in it once. She's like, yeah, you have to fix the air conditioner. So fine for me, not for anybody else in the house. And so now it's like a normal car. Like I get in it, turn on the air, I turn on the car, the air runs and cools down pretty quickly. We got tinted windows and everything. It works fine when it's on. Yeah, so all good to go. It's just I don't know the remote. I want like the keyless entry and remote start thing. That sounds fun. I don't know. You're gonna lead me down a rabbit hole. I'm gonna have to back away slowly because I just got this server thing here and like the air compressor changed out. Like I don't want to do anymore. Stop. Make it stop.
Do you now see the pressure I'm under whenever I hang out with you guys? You guys usually try to get me to spend money. Come on, Seth. You need to get this for your car. Install it along with the CarPlay.
We're already planning on adding. We're already planning on adding this to the second car, so my wallet's about to be a lot emptier.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Happens.
My only saving grace is my car is rather old, and I don't think. I think there's a couple of things that work with it. There was one that was like claiming to be the only aftermarket product that works with Volkswagens. So of that era. So yeah, it's old. It's like 2007. How much do I really want to remote start it?
Probably not.
Don't even care if it starts most of the time. So.
Can't go to work.
Yeah, it's too bad. Stuck. Anyway, pretty fun project updates over the last weekend. I was fighting server things. I'm still fighting server. Maybe fighting server things. I have no idea. But we were all talking over the weekend about all of our different project updates, and yeah, I'll be busy. It's grass mowing season right now, so that means I have to mow the grass twice a week now, maybe more. If I mow it in 3 days, it's as high as like up mid calf. Like it's ridiculous how fast it's growing right now.
We're in a 2-week cycle right now, so every 2 weeks I have to mow.
Oof,
I wish. That's winter. All right. Well, let's move on. We want to thank everyone and give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about our Patreon page, head on to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 gets you a big shout out on the show. And I think we had one this last week. Thank you, Michael Moore, for updating to $5.
Woohoo!
Yeah, really appreciate that. Yay. Yeah, I'll edit some claps in.
Yeah, you probably can't hear my claps that well, so it's there. I promise.
Some cheering and stuff. Yeah, exactly. I'll find something to go in. But every pledge, no matter the value, gets you a invite to our private Slack chat, the Hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather every day to talk about tons of stuff and fire hazards. Evidently, thanks, TJ. You were posting some gems right there. Wow,
That was awful.
Yeah. But there's been a lot of great conversations that have been going back and forth recently.
I got Wabox and Eero though, so they're good to go.
Oh man, those are wild. Those are crazy pictures there. Anyway, moving on. We if you want to help out but can't support financially, totally understand. We just appreciate a 5-star review in iTunes or positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That is it from everyone here at HomeTech. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Take care. Bye.
I feel like I messed that one up. I was trying to read 3 different things,
Nope.
reading this, reading that, reading this. Looking at fire hazards over here. So I'm going to take it. That wraps another week in HomeTech from everyone here. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Take care.
Bye.
Oh, he said something, and that's getting edited in. There we go.
You got to send Bruno your email address.
Yeah, Bruno.
He doesn't work in lighting though, so
Seth at HomeTech.
I heard he's a traveling model now.
Ooh, well, he's got that look.
So I found the monitor mount. It's not
Ooh,
that
how
bad.
much is it?
$76.
Ooh, that's not
bad.
bad.
Yeah, I would probably do that.
And then it can either put the monitor inside like flush mount, or it can sit like in front. So I just gotta make sure my monitor has Visa mounts, and then I'll have it by Friday.
Bam.
And I'm gonna have to shift everything down. Damn it! And I need
Yeah,
put
I mean,
another
there's work
PDU.
involved.
But then you gotta fix your patch cables.
Oh no! What the tips
Those
you guys
things
gave me earlier is gonna clean that up. It'll
yeah.
take out that one U. I don't need that.
You have an extra brush plate now.
Yeah. Oh, I have
3. I don't know why I have 3. So
I'm gonna order a PDU at the same time too. Another one.
Collecting them. Yeah.
My UPS
I had a
hidden
similar project. I'll post, I guess, in our chat here. But like, I've gone through like 2 or 3 monitors now. The first one was kind of like exactly what it needed to be to go in there. Like it was like there was the laser cut. Like it looked like totally nice, like Middle Atlantic laser cut. And then like years later, that TV started to go out, or we had to change it out because I don't even think it had HDMI on it. Like it was a security monitor. And as things got updated, I was just like, let's just put any old random, like we put like a Vizio TV in there now. And so that on the rack, it's like a Vizio TV for, just basically maintenance while you're on the rack, and you can move it around, plug it in, double check sources, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I ended up just like bastardizing that Middle Atlantic rack to do it. And it's now like the monitor you have is square. I think that might fit in the rack, but if it doesn't matter. Like it can sit over this edge.
No, I think the one I have, it will fit in the rack.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it also, you can have it sitting in front of the rack. So even if it's bigger, like I can raise it up higher and have it sit in front of the rack, but then it kind of goes like above the rack in a way too, to free up some U's. But I don't need to free up U's.
You don't have enough U's. No, you do. You've got plenty.
I've got plenty of U's.
Here it is. I'll copy and put it over there. So it was my project this last couple of weeks was swapping out the video system for this thing. It just got ridiculous. Like hit by lightning. So time to replace things. And we finally just bit the bullet and did it, and everything's been great since then. So yay. But it's like 2 of yours. There is it. There it goes. Anyway,
Oh,
thanks.
crap. That's serious.
Thanks everybody for it's new amps, new video, everything. But that TV is a video.
Oh, crap.
The network stuff on the it's actually updated since then. This picture too. The all the network. I got a UDM Pro in there, and a couple of other UPSs put in just for that. So
I can even make the monitor just show like I can make the monitor show my cameras if I wanted to.
yeah,
Because that's all running just on a VM on my server. So I just gotta put the input to that video card, and I'll see all that. So that's a cool idea too.
oh, this is the old rack. Yeah, I should take an after picture because that's the old Just a Power system. I ripped all that out. Everything here is pretty much been replaced at this point. So this was the other day before I started, and then
that's the thing is I don't know what half the things are in here. Like,
yeah, it turns out neither did I guess. Oh.
But yeah, I'm gonna order another PDU and order that rack monitor thing, and yeah, then I can finish it up.
Nah,
so much money. Yeah,
got another $500 router to buy.
Just spin it around and be like, oh, look at all this space I have to fill up. My
cart.
rack gets bigger. It's like I can expand it.
3 more computers.
Yeah, exactly.
Add to cart.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Oh, that's too good.